Hi guys, in this video I'm going to show you about the basic data types in GoLang. So there are three basic data types in Go. The first one is bool or Boolean. The second one is numeric or number. And the third one is string. So let's go to the first data type, the Boolean one. So the Boolean data type have only two values, either true or false. Right? So now I'm going to give you an example of the Boolean data type. First, I'm going to declare a variable a, that type of Boolean, right? And I'm going to assign a value to a, which is true. And I'm going to print out the type and the value of a. Use the print f function in the FNT GoLang standard library. The type, I'm going to use the %t to print out the type of a, and gonna to print out the value of a with the percent %v. I'm going to give it a for the type and another a for the value. I'm going to go right to the terminal and then the go command, go run main.go. Right, as you can see, the type of the variable in Boolean and the value in true. And now, what if I assign a number to this? What would happen? As you can see, immediately the editor is going complaining about the assignment that I cannot assign a number to a variable with a Boolean data type. So I'm gonna to change it back to true, right? And there are also another way of declaring and initializing a variable in Go if you the combination of the colon and equal. I'm gonna to assign it to true. I'm gonna to go to the terminal and run the Go command again. And as you can see, the type of the variable in true and the value in Boolean and the value in true. And now we have done with the Boolean data type. Let's go to the numeric one. So there are two subtypes of the numeric data type. The first one is int, which is short for integer, right? And there are also many subtypes of the integer, which is signed and unsigned. For the signed integer, we have integer of 8 bit, integer of 16 bit, integer of 32, and integer of 64 bit. And for the other subtype of the integer in the unsigned integer, with the unsigned integer of 8 bit, unsigned integer of 16 bit, unsigned integer of 32, and unsigned integer of 34 bit. And now I'm going to give you an example about the integer. So I'm going to declare a variable a at a time of integer 8. And then after that, I'm going to assign a value to a at 8. And now I want to use the print statement to print out the type and the value of a. I'm sorry. Okay, and I'm going to go to the terminal and run the go command again. The type of a in integer of 8 bit and the value in 8. And now I'm going to change, assign the a to negative 8 instead of 8 and see what happened. So the type of the variable a in integer of 8 bit and the value in negative 8. And what if I'm going to change the type of the a to unsigned integer of 8 bit, and I'm going to go to the terminal and run the go command, see what happened. And as you can see, there's an error message right here that I cannot assign a negative 8 to an unsigned integer. So as you can see, this is the difference between the signed and unsigned integer. So in the signed integer, there are some bits allocated for storing the sign of the number, which is the negative sign. And in the unsigned integer, there is no allocation of any bit for the negative sign. So that's why the editor is complaining right now. So to make the error go away, I have to either change the number to 8, or I have to change the data type to integer of 8 bit. All right, now we have done with the integer data type, and I'm gonna go to another subtype of the numeric data type, which is the float. The float is short for the floating point number, right? So floating point number also has some subtype, which is the float of 32 bits and the float of 64 bits. Right? And now I'm gonna to give you an example to solidify your knowledge about the floating point number. So I'm gonna declare a variable a of type float 32. I'm gonna to assign it to 10.5. Right? So floating point number means the decimal number or the number with decimal after that. So which is 10.5, 10.1, 10.6. And now I wanted to print out the type and the value of the a variable. And I'm going to go to the terminal and run the go command again. As you can see, the type variable in float 32 and the value in 10.5. All right. And now I'm gonna to change it to negative 10.5 and run the go command again, see what happened. So the type variable in float 32 and value is negative 10.5. And now if I change it, the data type of the variable a to integer of 32 bit and see what happened. And immediately we see an error message that negative 10.5 cannot be assigned to an integer 32 bit, right? So what does it mean? What are the difference between the integer and the floating point number? The integer means the whole number, right? But the floating point number means the decimal number, which is 10.5. And to make the error message go away, I need to change the data type back to float 32 instead of integer 32. Now we have done with the floating point number, and then move to our last data type, which is string. So what is the string? The string of sequence of character, such as hello, which is a combination of 5 characters, HELLO. So now I'm going to give you an example about string. So let's declare a variable a type string and initial the assign the hello string to the variable a. And now I'm going to use the printf function to print out the data type and the value of variable a. And then go to the terminal, run the go command again. And as you can see, the type of the variable a is string and the value in hello, right? And now I'm gonna to access the individual character in the string. So I'm gonna to use the square bracket and the index, right? So now I want to access the character of the index 0 in the string, which is uppercase S, right? And I'm gonna to run the Go command again and see what happened. So the type of the integer, the type of the character, so the type of the character of the index 0 is unsigned integer 8, and the value of the character of the index 0, a variable a, is 72. So what does it mean? I thought that it should be like uppercase H, right? So what happened? So what is 72 first? So I'm gonna to take you to the ASCII table, and I'm gonna to look for 72 in here, which is right here. So 72 mean uppercase H. So the 72 here is actually the ASCII code for the uppercase H, right? So how can I print out the character instead of the ASCII code? I'm going to access the user formatter %C to print out the character of the index 0. And I'm going to go to the terminal again and run the Go command and see what happens. Oh, as you can see, the type of the character of the index 0 in unsigned integer of 8 bits and the value in 8. Alright, so I have shown you how can we print out the character in a string. Okay, that's all for the video today. Thanks for listening.